Well, that's what I was gonna say, Shan, is that what I'm finding is that is two camps. It's either men who have never been married and just had unsuccessful relationships, or men who've been married and their marriage wasn't successful. Because you don't hear, at least I haven't heard, men in successful marriages saying the degree to the same things that these other men are saying. Now, what I do hear them say things that I think it's more just when you're dealing with a woman, like just some average stuff, oh my goodness, they don't put the stuff away. Oh, she's a nagger, right? Like, I think that that's kind of some general stuff like that you're here just no matter what. But when a man is in a happy marriage, you don't hear the same things that these men who have been in a marriage and the marriage was unsuccessful or have never been married before. So the ones that are pushing like, how does it benefit me, is because they have never had a relationship that was that successful that would give them an inkling of why a marriage is beneficial. When we had that conversation with Marcus, he was able to rattle stuff off like that because he's in a happy marriage. So I think that's part of the problem. It's hard, like how you said earlier, you don't know what kind of mom you will be or how to be a mom until you actually become a mom. So I think a lot of these men are speaking from the point of not being a husband or not having or have had a partner that really operate and work with them the way a wife would. Well, let me specify and say a good wife, a good wife would. So I think that is part of the problem. They're speaking from a perspective of ignorance. And I don't mean ignorant like in a bad way, just the ignorance in terms of not knowing, not having that knowledge.
And my thing is this too. I mean, I think, and I wish Marcus was here so he can help. Yeah, this young man, he can say, because you're going to hear it tonight, because Marcus is going to tell you some great things about marriage when he gets back. But I think that the crazy thing is, okay, you complain about marriage, but you also complain about not being married. Like, you're still complaining. Oh, she's this, she's that, she's that. Oh, she's for the street. She's not even your woman. So who cares if she's for the street? She ain't yours. So it's like, what is the argument? Like, you're not satisfied either. It just seems like there's no satisfaction. Period. Whether you're married or you're single, there's always a complaint.
In due point, I don't know. I think that's the other problem too, is that you're not going to have any relationship where you don't have problems, right? Like, it's just inevitable. So when they say things
two
like
people who in friendships have problems at times,
right? Like, I never heard a married person, say anything good about. No, it doesn't mean, even if you have I would say that I have a healthy marriage. I would say that I would have a happy marriage. I don't like saying happy now that me and my husband actually had a conversation about that, because we know that happiness is a fleeting emotion, right? But so I'll prefer to say a healthy marriage as opposed to a happy marriage. We do have happy moments, but we also have bad moments. We also have moments where, you get that ebb and flow. So when you're married, it doesn't mean that every single time, every day you wake up, you're married, you're going to be in a good space. You know what I'm saying? You don't even be in a good space as an individual sometimes waking up. So when you're in a marriage, it doesn't mean that every day is going to be, bliss. The thing is that, do I have a solid partner? Can we work through the issues that we have? Are we still respectful of each other as we're going through those issues? You know what I'm saying? Am I putting the other person, being considerate of the other person's feeling, like things like that, to make the marriage stable? So when you do go through those hard times, it's easier to move through it, as opposed to trying to like not have, when you're going through things and not having somebody, there for you. Like, I couldn't imagine at this stage of my life, I could not imagine my life without my husband. Like when they say two become one, when you really pour into that to create that, like you cannot see yourself without your other half. And I think a lot of men and women have never, may not have experienced that, so can't really understand what that looks like or what
I
that.
just want to make a real quick point before Nas goes. I think the statement in itself is kind of disingenuous. And the reason I believe that is because most of the time these guys are listening for something that they want to hear instead of hearing exactly what is said about marriage. No, like in life isn't easy. So don't expect marriage to be easy. Like there's nothing that's ever going to be handed to you. Everything in life takes work. So expect to work in marriage. But on the other side of that, could you imagine? I'm just going to give you a scenario real quick and I'll let Inaz go. You're sitting at work, you forgot to bring your lunch, and suddenly your wife just shows up with lunch because she thought maybe you would be hungry because she noticed you left your lunch at home. So now you don't have to spend money to go to buy lunch. You had somebody thoughtful. You're about to have a great conversation on your lunch because you're not going to marry somebody that you can't at least have a real conversation with. You're going to have this great dialogue. You're going to get a kiss before you go back into the office. Everything's going to be so super dope. The rest of your day is going to be awesome because she brightened up your day. Those are the little things that are great about being married to the right chick. And that's just something small. I mean, I could go on, but that is just something small, bro. But that's not what you're listening for. What you want is great sex every night of the week. You wanted to be able to throw it up on the ceiling and push it back and drop it like it's hot every night of the week. Because as a single man, if you really went out and tried to get that, you probably could if you really hunted it down. You want to only be responsible for you. You are no longer just responsible for you. You're responsible for somebody else. But guess what? That person's also responsible for you, bro.
And you know what's so funny?
That's just like y'all, like they just look to hear something that they're not gonna hear because it just doesn't work the way they want it to until they find that person.
And you know what's so funny? I do think kids have a lot to do with marriage, but just having a partner there for you, just like the AP said, that's going to be there for you through thick and thin. Because I think that you guys all think that your health is going to be perfect. You ain't going to need nobody to be beside you. I mean, just going to get a colonoscopy for a checkup, you got to have somebody there with you. You know, it's things in life and you take it for granted. You got to find somebody to and that's what partners are there for you for. And it's unfortunate that most people won't even realize how significant a companion is or a partner is until they're in a situation that they need somebody and they don't have anybody. Mm-hmm. But go ahead, Inaz. I apologize. You were next.
No problem. I just wanted to say that you're probably new here. Welcome. This in 40 years, if you have not heard men speak positively about marriage, this is the panel, because the majority of men on this panel have all spoken incredibly positively about marriage. And I would encourage you to go back and watch some of the older videos too, where you can hear a plethora of these men talk about marriage positively over and over and over and over again. They don't do it one week, they will probably do it the following week. Because like if we're honest, and we've talked about this all the time, right? Not everybody has had those examples in their immediate surrounding. And unfortunately, algorithms push so much negativity, right? So I'm really grateful that this gentleman is here today to be able to listen to AP and Marcus talk about the positive points of marriage from the male perspective, because it is needed. We do genuinely need more of this stuff. There's so much more of that rah of I'm never getting married, the pseudo I'm terrified of being taken advantage of, and all of this stuff, right? I think it's important to kind of embrace these conversations, even though they're a little bit abrasive and maybe facetious. To give people the opportunity to hear men talk about it, because not everybody gets that opportunity.
And like he was saying too about the benefit, like what's the benefit if you're not having children? I mean, like our children are grown now and out the house, but you know, now that we're in a situation where we don't have children technically, you know, in the house with us, it is another level, a different dynamic in our relationship after raising kids together and now not having children to raise. And it has actually drawn us closer together because now our focus is only on each other, whereas before that had to be split to take care of the kids and, you know, stuff like that, work and kids, school, blah, blah, blah. But now we're at a space in life where it's just us. And the benefit is, you know, the companionship part. Like we, you know, we've always had a friendship, but even now our friendship has gotten even, I would say, deeper. So it's just like I came home, he was just like, yo, we're gonna watch a movie. Let's watch this movie before I know you get on the show. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we, you know, it's just having that companionship. So even though kids are not involved, the relationship itself is still great. Like Shan was saying, if there are medical issues, you want somebody that knows your health history, knows somebody that's going to be able to be there for you and make decisions for you if you can't make them yourself, because they know you that in and out. I know that he or she would want this, you know. Is a lot that is beneficial when you are married to the right person.